Well, good morning, everybody. It's Wild Bill here at early 30 in the morning, and I thought I'd just bring you another grain of salt. And, you know, in interpreting the scriptures, we need to really be careful that we qualify words. What does that mean? Well, one example of that I was thinking about this morning coming up the road, and by the way, I have been talking about the holiness of God, and we're not done with that, just like we're not done with all the other subjects that I've introduced and hadn't finished. But qualifying words will help you in understanding Scripture. Context helps with that. But one such world that we deal with when we're in interpreting the Bible that can confuse the Scripture, can confuse the meaning. You know, what God is trying to get across to us. One such word is world. You know, that can throw people. Well, I want to talk about that and kind of throw in something that might help you. And, you know, the word world in the Bible is used in different ways, you know, with different meanings. You know, one meaning might be this giant terrarium that we live in, you know, place, this geographical location. Another such meaning, or another meaning for the word world, is this fallen perspective, or this particular stance or view that is anti-God. Man-centered perspective, in other words. And we can see in one place in the Scriptures, in the New Testament in particular, where the word world can have two different meanings in that one passage. In John 17, now, this interesting thing about this John 17, among other things, is that it's the longest recorded prayer of Jesus that we have. It is the high priestly function seen and brought out to our attention of Jesus, and it's portrayed right here in John chapter 17. It is Him in the Holy of Holies, communing with His Father, but not just communing with His Father, and we do see that in that passage, but it's Him serving us, praying for not only the disciples that are there with Him, but for us, for those who would believe in the future and follow Him. And in that passage, there's scripture that I kind of want to bring out. It says about this particular word, world, He said, "I'm no more in the world, but these are in the world." Now, here, the meaning of the word world here is location, geographic location. That's a place. Because he's talking about, I'm fixing to leave here. He's fixing to be crucified and be taken from here. And he says these guys are still going to be in the world. And he says, I come to you, Father, and I want you to keep them. And later on down, he says, I have given them your word, and the world hated them because they are not of the world, as I am not of the world. Now here, he's giving a different rendering of the word world here, or different meaning. He's talking about an anti-God sentiment. And he's saying that they are not of the world and I am not of the world. And he says, set them apart in your truth. And he says, your word is truth. And it, something you need to realize is, and we need to realize is, that when we stay in the word, that is one big element that sanctifies us and sets us apart from the world. He says, as you send me into the world, or as you sent me into the world, I also send them into the world. Now he goes back to the geographic location meaning of the word world. In every generation there has been an attempt to separate or disassociate from anything that remotely resembles the world. Some think that they must withdraw from society to keep themselves pure. I mean, the Pharisees believed and taught this particular doctrine, and salvation by segregation. I mean, they said it was unclean for people to be among those who were not like them, and they hated the fact that Jesus, in their minds, contaminated himself by spending time with the publicans and the tax collectors and the sinners. They had contempt for the very ones that Jesus came to redeem. And in the past, we have developed things like monasteries to separate ourselves from the world. Jesus said, I don't want you to take them out of the world or this location, but I want you to keep them while they live out their faith in this world. Being an example to those that are in the world. And this is consistent with the teaching that Paul gave over in Romans chapter 12. In Romans 12, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to get into that in the next video, but suffice it to say that we are still in this world, and we are actually sent into this world. Take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, though, and remember the widows, the orphans, and the poor, would you?